Hello everybody, I hope you are fine. First of all, let's raise our praise to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who giving us mercy and blessing so we can meet here without any trouble and obstacle. And before telling more and more, let me introduce myself. My name is Bernianti. I'm from English Education Department in STKIP Muhammadiyah Sampit. The one I want to share to you all today is about teaching and learning process while pandemic era in 2020. So this is our material today, like I said before, teaching and learning process in while pandemic era in 2020. So to make our discussion effectively, let me tell you what should we do during our discussion. First, we will tell about how teaching and learning process in pandemic era, and then also what the advantage and disadvantage of this pandemic era in teaching and learning process. Okay, the understanding that is generally understood by people, especially those who are lay in educational field of study, is that teaching and learning is delivery of knowledge and culture to students. Thus, the goal only revolves also around the achievement of student mastery of a number of knowledge and culture. Or it can also be interpreted as activities that involve a teacher and student with the aim of achieving understanding of lesson or material given. So this activity is usually carried out face to face or offline, but due to the COVID-19 virus, before become pandemic, the and now COVID-19 virus are now become pandemic, so all the activities is changed without exception. For example, is the teaching and learning process, which was initially carried out offline, now has to be done with online learning. In order to suppress the spread of the virus, this must be done. So, uh, in the online teaching and learning process, of course, it will have several advantage and disadvantage. First is the advantage, or one is cheap. This is mean with only the internet data package, students can access the learning material they want without having to worry about missing lesson if they are not present. Two is save money. That is, students do not have to buy learning material books anymore because all materials can be searched easily on the internet. And the last one is independent. That is means students learn to go to the internet without any intervention from the teacher anymore. And so that the student can get used for looking for material that they know without having to always ask the teacher in the classroom. And then that's about the advantage. And last one is the disadvantage of this process. So first is social disturb. It means with online learning, students will have different insights. This tends to make students feel superior to each other because they know more than others, or even those whose insights are still not broad enough to feel inferior and eventually isolate themselves. And then the second one is less interaction with teachers. Online learning makes students learn from the internet, but this causes less interaction with the teacher because they already know the material and there is no else to ask the teacher in the class. And as a result, the teachers is no longer needed in the classroom. And the last one is old habits are hard to change. It is undeniable that some students have I still have the habit of the reading textbook. They are not used to having to stare at the monitor for hours at a time or to study their chosen material. That's all about the disadvantage. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. I have already talked about how the teaching and learning process was like during a pandemic, like from the offline become to the online learning, and then disadvantage of that process. And I do be very happy to invite you to ask questions at the end of the session, and I'm sure there will be plenty of time for us to discuss some of the points that have been raised. So uh, now, so now let's we open the question section. So any one of you want ask about this material?
Okay, hello.
Yeah.
I want to ask to you, Bernie, uh, from your previous explanation that teaching and learning activities are now carried out online, we know that there are many applications that we can use for this process. For example, Google Meet, Google Classroom, Zoom, WhatsApp, and the others. So, in your opinion, which one is the most effective for use in the teaching and learning process? Thank you.
That's a good question. That's an interesting question. In my opinion, of the many applications that can be used is Google Meet or Zoom. So why did I choose this or I choose them? It is this because through this the teacher and student can still communicate, and all students also have a Google, right, Google application or Zoom on their smartphone or laptop. And also, this application is classified as not wasteful on data package. So it doesn't bother students. If only through Google Classroom and WhatsApp, the possibility that will definitely happen is that teacher will only provide assignments and the materials without explaining them. So that there is no interaction between the teacher and the student. So I think that's my answer. Is it clear, Absolia?
Yes, thank you for the answer, Bernie.
Okay, I think that's all from me all. Thank you for the attention and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi